Mindfulness isn't something we do sitting still. Sometimes we find it by moving, by paying attention to the world around us as we go. A road trip can be a practice in presence, and through that presence, a return to self. At home, I never see the sunrise. I'm not proud of it, but I'm not alone either. Mornings are usually something we rush through. Emails, alarms, coffee, out the door. But out here the world wakes up differently, and so do you. That moment, right before everything starts moving, it's quiet, but it feels like the most alive part of the day. One of the weirdest things about road tripping is how still you can feel while moving. There's something about long roads and big skies that clears your mind. It's like the more space you pass through, the more space you feel inside. Because when you're on the road, things keep shifting. New sights, new smells, even just the way the light changes. It breaks up the noise in your head. And honestly, after staring at screens all day, it feels good to just be present with something real for a while. Nature's vastness has this way of clearing out the mental clutter. When you're out there, looking at big open skies or huge mountains, it kind of makes your everyday worries seem smaller. It's like your brain gets a chance to hit reset. Everything slows down, and you can actually think straight again. Sometimes that's all we really need. You know that feeling you get on a road trip? That sense of freedom that's kind of hard to find these days. With everything so busy and screens always buzzing, it's rare to just feel free. But out on the road, it's different. You are not tied down to a schedule or stuck in one place. You are going where you want, when you want. Honestly, I'm someone who always struggles with being spontaneous. I like having a plan and sticking to it. So when I decide to randomly pull over somewhere just because it feels right, it actually feels kind of refreshing. Those little moments stick with me. It might sound cliche, but it's true. Life isn't always about rushing around, and sometimes you just need to slow down and enjoy the ride. When you're on the road, at some point you start seeing things you used to overlook. Not the big Instagram moments, I mean the little things. How clouds move above the mountains. How the ground looks different everywhere. The colors of wildflowers around you. Out here in nature, noticing becomes a kind of superpower. And the more you do it, the more you feel like an old self. The one who used to look at everything with curiosity before you got too busy. A bit like a child. Because isn't it great to be sometimes moved by little things? Sometimes when you first get somewhere, it might not seem all that special. But when you start noticing those little details, like tree bark, soft moss, or even cracked rocks, it's like the place comes alive. The older we get and the more of the world we see, the more cold and cynical we can start to feel. Even beautiful things can make us say, I've seen it somewhere already, nothing special. But honestly, that's wrong. It would be awesome if we could keep noticing those little things in our everyday lives too, even after we get back home from a trip. That childlike wonder, seeing the world with fresh eyes, it's pretty magical. It helps you appreciate what's around you in a whole new way. Because when we stop paying attention and become indifferent to the world around us, we miss out on so much. That kind of ignorance doesn't just change what we see, it changes how we feel deep down and how connected we are to the life itself. It can make everything seem dull or distant when really there's so much beauty waiting to be noticed if we just open our eyes a little more. Not every part of a trip is about visiting a national park or some big famous landmark. Sometimes it's just a random Tuesday in a city you've never been to before. Like walking down the street and spotting a cool piece of street art you didn't expect. Or stopping into a random diner that turns out to have amazing food and maybe a great glass of wine too. At first, cities and nature might feel totally different, but honestly, they are kind of the same in a way. Both are alive, both have their own rhythm. In nature, it's the little details that give it soul, the way the sunlight hits a leaf or the texture of a bark. And in a city, it's the people going about their day, the color of the buildings, the smells coming from a kitchen, or the buzz of a street corner. Those small things matter. They make the place feel real, like it has a heartbeat. And when you start noticing them, whether you're hiking a trail or just strolling a city block, you start to feel connected. Travel isn't just about the big sights, it's about slowing down enough to see those details that bring a place to life. Sometimes you plan a road trip hoping for sun and then it starts raining. At first, it feels like a bummer. You get soaked, your plans feel thrown off, and everything slows down. But honestly, the train teaches you a little flexibility. It reminds you to roll with whatever comes your way and find the good in it. My favorite part of the trip was all of the water. There's something about lakes that just pulls you in. They smooth, glossy surfaces perfectly reflecting the sky and trees, like a mirror holding a secret. Waterfalls have this wild energy, crashing down with a roar that's impossible to ignore. Then there are the mountain streams, rushing and playful, weaving their way through rocks and moss, always moving but somehow calming at the same time. And the ocean, that endless salty stretch of water that can feel both powerful and peaceful. Standing near it, you can feel small and free all at once. There's something sacred about sharing a road trip with someone. Not just being in the same car, actually seeing things together. Presence is amplified through shared experience, with people, animals, and place. The quiet moments, the ridiculous ones. All that shared joy, it stays with you long after the trip ends. There's something pretty interesting about how traveling with other people or pets changes the whole experience. When you share moments with someone else, the memories seem to stick with you more. It's like feeling excited or amazed together makes those moments bigger and more real. Talking through what you're seeing or feeling, whether it's fun or frustrating, helps you remember it better later on. And then there's the stories you end up telling, those little anecdotes from the trip that come up again and again. They are what keep the memories alive down the road, turning moments into something you and your travel buddies can laugh or shake your heads about forever. So it's not just about the places you visit, it's about who you share those moments with that really shapes how you look back on the trip. We didn't always have a cozy campsite or a hotel room. Sometimes we slept in a parking lot on our custom-built sleeping platform. Some nights it was just us, the car, and the stars overhead. It wasn't always comfortable, but it was simple and real. When you sleep in a car enough times, you start to realize how little you actually need to feel content. A dry place after a day in the rain, someone to laugh with, a good blanket, maybe a dog sleeping nearby. Hotels are nice, but they'll never teach you what the car camping does. That comfort isn't about luxury, it's about feeling safe and alive and small in the best way. You never really chase the sunset on a trip like this, but it always finds you. At the end of a long day, a long drive, you watch the sky burn into colors you didn't know existed. And it hits you. This isn't just about travel, or nature, or the views. It's about presence, about finally slowing down enough to see things, not just outside, but inside too. The road doesn't just show you the world, it shows you how to come back to yourself. And when you do, you realize that presence was always available. You just needed a road to remind you. The road doesn't give you answers, it gives you space to listen.